Hello my friends and welcome to a new video. This time I'm going to talk about this here, the Wheelstand Pro. The Wheelstand Pro that I tested is the V2 and it differs from V1 mainly that it is made longer with a larger diameter of tubes used to increase stability. It does come in different shapes and forms suited for each manufacturer, and even, like with the deluxe one I'm using, an extra bar to attach your shifter. The configuration is very straightforward. There are two on-the-fly changes that you can make, being the angle of the central bar and the length of that central bar. This will allow you to find a good position in relation to your pedals and the height of the steering wheel. I had absolutely no issues in finding a correct position suiting me. So the last configuration is the inclination of the wheelbase holder. This can be tilted up and down, and once locked it remains securely into place. The pedals are really fixed. The mechanism used is a very simple one, so you just screw a metal bar up to the base of the frame into the wheelbase and it just keeps it into place like this. It has attachment options for both the 2 and 3 pedal bases. I was happy to see it work this well. In fact, the entire setup feels very stable and much more than I would have thought. The wheelbase is bolted into the plate with 2 bolts and feels well fixed. Like I said, for the V2 Deluxe Edition there is also an extra bar. So you have the last screw that goes through a metal bar going into your wheelbase that you attach your shifter. The shifter feels also very attached, but the same thing is, perhaps you can see it, but the wheel is flexing a lot when it does some movement. So, yeah. And the same can be said when using the steering wheel. Yeah, especially this model, it tends to move a lot when you race with it. It is in fact a problem with all wheelbase holders that use a central bar, and I have already mentioned it in numerous other reviews. But then again, I can understand the choice for going with the principle here. This wheel and pedal holder is supposed to be compact and cheap, and while it's not exceptionally stable, it is stable enough to race with. When you're done with it, you can just clap it in, put it on your desk, well, if you have a bit of a deep desk, and you can, it's out of your way. I mean, it's very handy for that. So when stored, it takes as little space as 65 cm by 45 by 65, and that is very compact compared to any other wheel stand or sim rig. It doesn't take a lot of space when it is folded out, so when you want to play, you can just use your desk chair that you always use and use this device to fix your wheelbase and your pedals. And that is a second major asset to using this. When deployed, it takes very little space too, because you can use your comfortable desk chair as a seat, ideal for sim races that don't have space in excess. There is, however, something you might need to take into consideration while using your desk chair. I now have a chair here that doesn't have any rollers under it, but from the moment you have a desk chair with rollers, then you need to find a way to block the rollers. Now this is just a very small issue that can be handled with some creativity. But this is really a cheap solution as well. If you already have a desk chair, then you can buy a wheel stand for around €100 new, but often on the secondary markets, on second-hand markets, they are even cheaper. Another very interesting aspect is that it doesn't take ages to set up. I mean, it's configured in less than a minute and you are ready to go. Of course, you can use your desk and the desk clamp, and then the pedals you slide under the desk, but well, then you always have to pull it off your desk, put it back, and the pedals as well, you need to fix them in some way or another, which is not evident for all pedal bases either. So I think the wheel stand is really the cheapest solution that you can have for playing with a wheel. Now, are there any downsides? The immersion that you have from using a wheel stand is much less than if you would buy a sim rig. The stability of the wheelbase and shifter might also not be what you're looking for if flex and the lack of it is important for you. And perhaps a last item, although it doesn't bother me like it does with the playseat Evolution, the middle bar is in the way, especially when using a shifter with a 3-pedal base. For the price, it's a very satisfactory. I mean, it's €100, okay, yeah, it's for a few tubes and a bit of screws, okay, but it's everything in sim racing is expensive, so I think this is a very good price for what it is. And that is just it. You might get away with using the stable clamping system and carpet biters of a wheel like the Logitech G923 and have a relative stable experience, but then afterwards you need to take the wheel and pedals off your desk again and store them somehow. The Wheelstand Pro is a very handy tool, and if you are short on cash or space, but you are a sim racer, I would certainly think about investing a small amount of money in a wheel stand. It's worth the hassle. I hope you had something from this review. If you did, don't forget to give a like as appreciation and consider subscribing to the channel for more reviews and news. Thank you all for watching and see you next time.